We are back in Memphis, everybody, and the National Guard is officially on the ground. They've been in Memphis for about 2 weeks right now, and according to some, the results are irrefutable. Trump took a really big gamble sending the National Guard into these cities. So here's the question. Does he deserve credit or criticism?
Back to the number one, which is the National Guard. Memphians will actually start to see National Guard troops patrolling the streets on Friday. State Representative Antonio Parkinson gave an update straight from a meeting with Governor Bill Lee that says there will be about 150 guardsmen max deployed to Memphis. But now that number is a little questionable because we're hearing from Senator Brent Taylor that it could be 1,000 troops. And of course, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth also said up to 1,000 could be deployed here. Now, there will be 3 different shifts, 8 hours each, covering the 24-hour day. Antonio Parkinson also said that the guardsmen will be unarmed and will not be making any arrests. And lastly, their primary assignment is visibility and support. But of course, the National Guard is joining the Memphis Safe Task Force's operations that started September 29th. So since then, the task force has made more than 500 arrests and seized more than 140 illegal guns. They've issued more than 2,600 traffic citations and more than over 20,000 active warrants currently in Shelby County.
So let's look at this. Let's think about this critically. Over 500 arrests and 140 illegal guns seized. So if the National Guard isn't in Memphis, if they're not down there in Shelby County, none of these arrests take place. All of these guns are still on the street. But you still have people who are pushing back against the National Guard being in Memphis. And then you heard the reporter mention just a moment ago that there's a rumor that the number of troops is going to possibly uptick to over 1,000. Take a look at this.
National Guard is officially in Memphis, and from a trusted source, they have told me that 1,000 National Guard troops have been sent to Memphis, not the original 250, and their orders are for a year.
So the rumor is obviously spreading that the number of troops could uptick to 1,000 troops. But before anyone starts to have some trepidation about that, there's one thing that's irrefutable. It's working. Arrests are being made. People are being taken off the streets. Guns are being taken off the streets. And the National Guard and this safety task force, this federal safety task force, is getting better results than the local Memphis Police Department.
The DOJ breaks down the arrests as follows: 224 warrants, 131 ICE administrative arrests, 79 were for firearms, 60 for narcotics, 28 were sex offenses, 4 were homicides, 2 were for parole and probation violations, and 99 are listed as other.
So when you see numbers like that, I would anticipate that most people who live in Memphis would be applauding this effort. They would see the amount of crime going down, they'd be happy, but you've got mixed results all throughout Shelby County, and it kind of falls along gender lines as far as I can tell.
But I will say thank you to Trump for bringing these National Guards and doing what they're doing down here in Memphis right now. You know, for the first time in 5 years. I've been in my home for 5 years. And for the first time, my kids have been able to play in the backyard and be able to do it comfortably. I haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. I'm sitting on my porch right now, and I'm watching kids outside playing. People outside walking with their kids, stuff I ain't never seen before living in my neighborhood.
You know, it's just so dangerous that you can't get out of your car, you can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to the market or the service station. So yeah, I want to see the crime stop. And if the National Guard is going to stop the crime, bring them out.
Formal martial law, but it is de facto martial law. I bet you 90% of the people in Memphis and Shelby County, and you can ask 90% of the students in Memphis.
Where the midterms?
That they would, where the midterms. Ask them where the midterms, but moreover, ask them what's the difference between experiencing martial law and experiencing what it's like to be driving down the street in black neighborhoods, knowing at any given moment you could be pulled over for what the elders used to be calling driving while black.
What's really disconcerting is that it is conditioning us to yield. And so that's the thing that follows. At the end of the day, we're all being told what not to do, what we need to carry, and all of that is just preparing and conditioning you to yield your rights, your privileges, all of that. Next,
I think it's layered and it's complicated because, one, I think the outside perspective of Memphis is dangerous. People don't understand the day-to-day lives in Memphis.
Right.
So I like these moments that we're doing now where people are able to just see us casually having conversations as intellectuals. Who y'all looking for, and how long gonna take y'all to find them? And if the police ain't found them in all this time, what makes you think y'all gonna pop up on the scene and go on the right alley and there they are?
So you see right there, two completely different points of view. You got the first two women who are saying, man, my kids can finally go play outside. The second woman saying, I finally feel safe. If the National Guard is going to decrease crime, bring them on. Then you see the second group of people. The first guy talking about it's a de facto martial law. No, it's not. There's no such thing as de facto martial law. You know what was de facto martial law before this federal task force got down there? De facto martial law is when you had to guess whether or not when you got in your car, you were going to get carjacked. You had to guess whether or not you were going to have, your house was going to get broken into, or you were going to be the person who randomly got shot. And then you hear the woman saying, oh, we're being conditioned. You were already conditioned. The only difference is that you were being conditioned by people who meant you harm. These individuals who are going down there now, the federal task force, the National Guard, they're coming down there to protect you from the people who were actually doing you harm. This is almost like Stockholm syndrome, where individuals fall in love with or they have some affection towards their captors. That's the conditioning that's been happening, is that you've been living in these conditions for so long and under this duress for so long that it becomes normal to you. You don't have any problem if you get, if you're the victim and the assailant is another black person, because that's normal to you. But when you see additional police force coming in, additional law enforcement coming in, and that they are actually apprehending these individuals. You heard that third guy say, how do they know they're going to go down the right alley and catch the right person? Because arrests are up. The data is in that it's working, but you still have some individuals who are just not going to accept reality. When you're operating from an emotional point of view, you are impervious to facts. Let's listen to one more person who made a comment on a local news station about the National Guard being in Memphis.
There's certain things that they need to be doing, because we have a lot of like murderers and stuff that's out here and rapists that's running around and all this.
Along with the arrests, more than 3,000 traffic citations have been issued. Devin Herndon says he understands the effort to get criminals off the street, but he wants to see resources begin pouring into his community to ensure that crime stays down for good.
Hassling them about a tag that they really can't pay for when they got to pay light bill, rent, probably got 2 or 3 kids or more. Gotta make food, make sure food on the table with them. It just make it harder on the people.
And I wanted to end there because when I saw that young man speak from that perspective, and I often hear that from inner city Black Americans about how hard life is. Maybe you have 2 or 3 kids to feed. You're trying to pay your utilities and put food on the table. Everybody, every adult, that's their responsibility. So you're not in a special set of circumstances, and the federal government doesn't owe it to Memphis to send money into Memphis when individuals are making bad decisions. Donald Trump has nothing to do with you having children out of wedlock. Donald Trump has nothing to do with you not finishing high school or getting a trade or getting a college degree so that you can up your skill set so that you can actually get a job that's going to pay you more money. Donald Trump has nothing to do with your credit score being low so that you can't qualify for a mortgage, or because you can't get a credit card with a decent interest rate, or you can't get an auto loan with a decent interest rate. So as we're ending right here, let me just say just 3 quick things that black people can do in Memphis and Shelby County, but the black people who think like this generally, because I get so tired of people complaining and throwing around the word resources when we have 100% of the power over our own destiny. So 3 quick things. Stop having babies out of wedlock. That's something really easy and controllable. When you stop having babies out of wedlock, then that means you don't have to pay child support. That means you're not going to have anything interrupt your life from the point of view of the males, and then from the point of view of the females. If you don't have children out of wedlock, you don't have to worry about, oh, I can't go to work because I don't have a babysitter. So number 1, let's get rid of baby mamas and baby daddies. Number 2, finish high school and continue your education. And when you decide what it is that you're going to do, whether it's a trade, whether it's a college discipline, whatever it is that you decide to do, go do the research and find out where those opportunities are. What jobs are paying the type of income that you would like to make, so that when you do finally get that job, you'll be able to afford the lifestyle that you want to have for yourself. And then finally, get your credit together. If you have a low FICO score, that's going to impact your life for the rest of your life until you get your credit together. When you have a low credit score, John Hope Bryant speaks on this often. When you have a low credit score, that means you're going to get a higher interest rate on your auto loan. That means if you get a credit card, it's going to be a small credit limit. It's going to be a high interest rate. If you can get a home loan, you're not going to be able to get a home loan if your credit score, your FICO score is not above a certain number. But even if it's lower, you're going to pay a higher interest rate. It affects everything from employment to insurance to everything in your life. So those are 3 easy things that people can do. And that young man, when you just heard him say, maybe you've got 2 or 3 babies to take care of, don't have babies you can't afford. Donald Trump and what he's doing in this discussion about whether he deserves credit or criticism, those are not good reasons to say that you're going to criticize this effort being made in Shelby County, especially when you see the results that they are getting. Let's continue the conversation in the comments section, though. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm completely off base. You let me know. Do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead, subscribe. You can like it. You can hype it. But most of all, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to continue to have conversations like this around all of these Democratic cities. We've got some more exciting content coming up, so make sure that you are both subscribed and have your notification bell turned on. I appreciate you for hanging out this long, and I'll catch you in the next one.